So you're going to the mission field? Or maybe you know someone who is? Either way, in this video we're going to be sharing 10 important practical things you should probably think about before you go. First up, if you're going to the mission field to be a missionary, it's very important to make sure that you have what you need to help maintain your spiritual walk with God. So, your Bible is number one. Some people read off their phones or an iPad, and I do too sometimes, but it's also really good to just have a hard copy Bible. The other thing is a hymnal. Now this is a very small, pocket-sized hymnal, but it's nice to have when maybe you're in a place where there isn't much electricity and you don't want to run your phone down or whatever, but it's nice to have a hard copy. And the other thing is just whatever books, whether it be devotional books or things like that. Books is one of the things that's hard to get over here if you want like a specific book. It's not like you find English books in the mission field like you would in America, unless you're going to a place that speaks English. But we're here in Asia, and that's not the case at all. So those things that you need for your spiritual life are very important.
Number 2 is to bring a few medicinal things. And for some people that could mean, if you're on prescription medications or, anything that you're having to take regularly and it's really important. A lot of the things that we're used to getting like in the US or probably Europe too are not as easily available, not so readily available, especially in the kind of quality we're used to getting, or maybe for the price we're used to getting it for. So maybe do some research, but bring a supply to last you at least a while. We actually do order some things online that get shipped over here, and that usually works okay. Sometimes you get charged import tax. But bring enough to get you by at least for a while until you can figure out some other source if you're able to get it locally. But some other things that we recommend is things to boost your immune system. So maybe multivitamins, at least vitamin C, different things like that. So if you get sick, there's things to boost your immune system. Or even before you get sick, when you come to a new place, your immune system is going to have to get used to new things. So it doesn't hurt to be taking vitamin C, be eating lots of fresh garlic, things like that. Another thing that's really helpful is called GSE. It's grapefruit seed extract, and this is Nutribiotic brand. And this is not a sponsored advertisement, but it's really good. We've had experiences where we were having like nausea and just feeling like we had a stomach bug for a while because the water where we were staying wasn't really clean, the drinking water that they had. So a drop of this is pretty concentrated. This is the super concentrated stuff. You can put a drop of this in a liter of water and you'll really have killed pretty much anything that's in there. You want to be careful not to overuse it though, because it can be a little bit hard on your gut if you use it day in, day out for too long. But if you do get like a stomach bug, this is also good to just help with stuff like that. You can wash vegetables in it if you're really needing to, stuff like that. Activated charcoal is another good thing to have, which we actually have. This is powder form. We don't use it very often. We more often use some that we have in tablet form or in capsule form. But it's really good if you happen to get diarrhea and vomiting and you probably ate something bad. It's really good to get that out of your stomach. Just be sure to drink lots of water with it so you don't get constipated. But you can also use it to make a poultice for a bee sting, or if you have an infection, just lots of different things. Look up activated charcoal if you're not used to it. Honestly, there's other things you could bring with you, but have at least a few things on hand so as you're getting used to the new germs, the new place, your body has something to help it along.
I remember the first time I came to Thailand for an extended period of time, as in 5 months instead of 1 month. I was going to live with a family and they were way out in the jungle, like out in the jungle. I repeat, out in the jungle. Anyway, got there and I had worn blue jeans and got there on a Friday and when I took my bath, I just put the blue jeans in my suitcase, didn't zip it or anything, just set it there, figured I'll deal with it on Sunday. Sunday I opened my suitcase and there was mold that was about, not quite that long, about yay long growing off of my belt, my leather belt, and my blue jeans, and I realized this is a whole different world. So yeah, when it's rainy season, even if you're not out in the jungle, it's hard for things to dry. So for me, I completely stopped wearing blue jeans. I don't even have any. And so I choose other clothes. Slacks are good, and these shirts are really nice. They're synthetic, but they look fairly nice and comfortable. And so I use them, and they dry super quick, and that's really good for traveling, but also just in rainy season, it's nice to have stuff that doesn't take forever to dry. Another thing as far as clothing, you can buy clothes over here just fine. They're not necessarily going to be the same quality maybe, but it's not like you have to try and bring clothes for, 10 years or 5 years or whatever when you come. So keep that in mind. It is good to have a rain jacket. You never know when you're going to be thankful you had it, especially in rainy season. And also shoes. Something to keep in mind with shoes is, at least here in Asia, where we are, we're in Thailand. Philippines, it's different some ways, but here, it's like you take your shoes off before you go into a church or a home. Some stores even, you take your shoes off when you enter. That's not too terribly common, but there are quite a few like that. So having shoes that you can remove easily is a very helpful thing. Also, if you have really big feet, it's going to be harder to find your shoe size over here. So having shoes or flip-flops or whatever you plan to wear before you come can be good, so you're not here stuck trying to find them, so you can have something convenient to wear. All right, number 4 is electronics. Now, I say mostly electronics, but there's other things too. You just want to make sure that what you have is compatible with 220 volts, because pretty much everywhere outside of America and Canada, I think, is pretty much on 220. Now, I remember my brother brought a what's it called? A power strip to Thailand here to use, so we could charge our camera batteries easier and stuff, and plugged it in, and there was some loud noises and some smoke, and that was the end of that power strip. So if you have like a electric razor or hair cutter, or if you're going to bring a kitchen appliance, some people bring blenders and whatnot. If you do that, you need a step-down transformer to bring it down to 110. But just make sure, almost all electronics these days are 220 compatible, but just make sure, because it's a pretty sick feeling when it's dead.
Number 5 is actually something that is more of a recommended don't bring rather than a recommended to bring, and that is musical instruments. For some musical instruments, I would say you're probably fine as far as things like, I play soprano and alto recorder. That type of thing doesn't get damaged so much. I know people bring flutes over. Flutes, I think, are usually okay, but things that are made out of wood, so stringed instruments like violins or guitars, I know people who have brought over both, and they were living, especially in areas where there's a lot of rain in the rainy season, and the instruments literally came unglued. So really think about bringing instruments. Better to get something over here. I don't know, just something about the instruments made over here, they tend to handle it better. And instruments brought from the States, where they're kept usually in a fairly dry environment, can really have a hard time over here. So maybe leave your instrument at home and get something different, maybe a little bit cheaper over here, and enjoy.
All right, time for number 6. If you are going to be getting your money from America, as in people donating and that sort of thing, and you need to get your money from an American bank into cash, the simplest way is to go to an ATM and withdraw it. And what happens is those ATMs charge you a fee. Now, here in Thailand, it's 220 baht, which is somewhere more than $6. And so if you're doing one of those every month, you're losing a good bit of money every year. And especially if you have to, make more than one withdrawal a month, that sort of a thing. a lot of money can be gone real quick. So what we recommend and what we do is we have a Charles Schwab bank account. Now this only works if you're American, I think. But if you get a Charles Schwab bank account and debit card, then I don't know how they do it, but if there's an ATM fee, they refund that to you at the end of the month. So you're not actually losing money when you make those withdrawals from the ATM. So it makes it super convenient to just not have to worry and stress about, withdrawing the maximum amount you can to make, the fee less significant in the amount of money you're pulling out. So that's what we recommend. If you are going to open one and you can deposit more than $1,000 in the first 45 days, send us an email, just the name of the channel and then at gmail.com, and we can send you a referral link to Charles Schwab where you will get $100. We won't get anything, but you can get $100, and we'd be happy for you to get an extra $100 to go towards your mission. All right, number 7. International driver's license. It's not necessary, but it could come in handy in that if you're planning to drive, whether it be a motorbike or a car, if you have the international driver's license, you can do that most places legally before actually getting a local driver's license. For me, I bought a motorbike here in Thailand. The next day I got pulled over at a checkpoint and fined because I didn't have an international driver's license and I didn't have a Thai driver's license. So it's nice to have it. It's not super duper important. If you're going to be driving in a country, it'd be good to get their driver's license anyway, but something to keep in mind and could be handy.
Number 8 is important paperwork. And that could include a variety of different things depending on who you are, where you're going, what you're doing. For me, that included my birth certificate, which somebody had to mail over here. Our marriage certificate, at least photocopies we've needed. We've also needed GED diploma, whatever. Neither of us went to official college, but if you've gone to college, bring your at least copies of your diplomas. Have them with you, so if you ever need them for a certain type of visa you're getting or whatever you're doing, it's good to have those with you, just in case.
Number 9 is just take a moment and think about what things in your life are you really picky about quality. And quality is really important to you. So for me, I have a specific running shoe or brand that I run in, so I can't get those over here, so I have to have them brought over from America or buy them when we're there. Something like that, or something else that is really nice and not necessarily that you have to get in America, but we did, and it's just a Bluetooth speaker. If you don't have one, it's really nice to be able to just put some music on or put a sermon on or whatever it be, and you're not burning up the speaker in your computer or your phone, and the sound is better. The one we have, the battery life is really great, water resistant. It's just a really nice thing to have, to be able to listen to music that is encouraging to the soul. And I will, if I remember, I'll drop a link in the description for the one we have if you want to check it out.
And number 10, what are those things that you just cannot live without? Maybe it's a photo album. Maybe it's some little thing that's a memory of home and reminds you of your family. Maybe it's a pair of shoes. Maybe it's a certain jacket. Maybe it's who knows what. Maybe it's your Bluetooth earbuds. Whatever it is, just try to think through what are those things that if I don't have, I'm really going to have a hard time and I'm really going to regret not having it with me. If you're really going to be missing your grand piano, it's probably not going to work to bring it with you, but yeah, think it through. There might be something that's unique just for you that you really need to bring. That's it for today, friends. We really hope this video was helpful to you, and we hope most of all that wherever God is leading you, whatever He asks you to do, that you will say yes and you will go and let Him lead you, let Him guide you through whatever those experiences may be. We'll see you next week with another video here on Mission Viewfinder. God bless.